Hey everybody, welcome to the Sacred Femme Alchemy podcast, a podcast to help you on your sacred feminine journey towards self-love and healing. I'm your host, Lisa Mae Francisco, a sacred feminine guide and mentor. In the podcast, we'll dive deep on how to heal your core wounds, reclaim your feminine power, and liberate your truth so you can be your wild, authentic self. Thanks so much for listening. I'm super excited that you're here. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sacred Femme Alchemy podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. I always start every podcast with that saying because it's absolutely true. I have not recorded a solo episode in a while, and it feels really good to connect with you all in this way. And if you have been following me on social, consuming my newsletters, follow me on TikTok, all of that stuff, I have exciting news, and it is that the Sacred Femme Alchemy membership is going to be opened to the public. Right now, I have a wait list for people that are interested, and this is the month where I give you all a preview, right, of what's happening. And so today, this episode is going to be about the conception of why I started the Sacred Femme Alchemy membership. It actually ties back to my mission of when I changed my name from Lisa Mae Coaching to Sacred Femme Alchemy, which was more fitting for the direction that I was going into unbeknownst to me. But I'm just super excited for how this journey has manifested. And really, because this is something that I'm just so fucking excited about. And it's something that I was nervous to launch. It was something that I was nervous to share. And I am just so excited because I'm finally opening the doors, finally letting people into this little private party that I've been having for a couple months. And I just want to be able to share it and talk about it. And so essentially, this is what today's episode is going to be about as we kick off May, is what is the Sacred Femme Alchemy membership? What are the different things that are happening into it, why I created it, what I'm hoping to have people in the community experience, why someone would want to join it, all of that stuff. Obviously, I share about in my social, and you can't really understand so much when you are reading someone's content. I mean, you can only talk for, I don't know, like it's short form content, honestly. I am a long form content girly, and it's interesting because I do spend a lot of time on social, but I'm leaning towards doing something different in my business where it's really sharing long-form content, which is something that I'm so passionate about, and then also doing in-person events, which I know a lot of you have been asking me. I will get DMs, I will get emails from people asking me, okay, is this event online or is it on person? Do you have any in-person events? And so I've been really feeling the call and the push to do that. And so that is something that I will be exploring the next couple of months, I guess, or like after June. Anyway, but so where did this idea come from? I think I'll start off with that. And for me personally, teaching one to many has been my biggest passion. Obviously, I have my one-on-ones, and I love working at a one-on-one intimate level with someone because you really get in there. If you want to really grow your capacity for intimacy, and I say this a lot to people who want to be coaches, who want to be mentors, you have to really understand how to get intimate with yourself first before you can hold space for someone else. And that's something that's not often talked about, but it is very true. When you are in those one-on-one sessions, you are getting super intimate with people. And I love that work, and it's a different type of work, and it creates a different type of environment where I have to show up. But I feel when I really shine is when I speak in groups. And I have mentioned this before where, I've gotten my training from just being in, attending a lot of 12-step community meetings and sharing there and having to tell my story and speaking in front of large groups. And I can talk about spirituality all day. I love being a teacher. And that is an archetype that I have not claimed. I have not claimed because I felt that what we all do, right? That we're not worthy, or who is to say that we have enough experience to claim being that? And I was in my yoga training this past weekend, and the teacher, one of the teachers, the guest teachers, was saying the difference between wisdom and knowledge is basically up here. It's mental, right? Anybody can recite history facts, anybody can recite something from a book, but wisdom and comes from the actual experience of that knowledge when it truly becomes embodied. And that's when you share, that's when you pay it back forward. That's when you say, hey, these are the insights that I've learned, and this was my experience, and here's what you can take from it. So you don't have to experience it, or maybe you can integrate some of the lessons that I've learned. So maybe you can you can shorten the lesson for you. And when I really started to own this, and I've always known that I've loved speaking in groups since probably, I want to say 2013. And giving myself this opportunity to do that has been a gift, just how I gave myself the gift of coaching and quitting my full-time job and really pursuing this business, giving myself the experience of wanting to create a container. Because I heard from a lot of people, you shouldn't create a container because you haven't sold out your one-on-ones. Who's going to want? And it's business coaches telling me that, but it kind of doesn't make any sense, because the whole time you're learning from these business coaches that are telling you, oh, go through every block, go through this, look at all your limiting beliefs. But then sometimes they're feeding you that block, right? And so I recently I'm part of this community, this membership community, and the woman was telling me, oh yeah, I've heard that too, that you're not supposed to launch any memberships, that you can't do any group coaching until you've sold out your one-on-ones, because it signifies product market fit, validation of the product that you're actually sharing out into the world so that people will buy it. And when I started telling her my dreams and what I want, and then I actually have something, she said, well, why don't you just share it? It sounds like it's ready to go. And that's the thing that I think I also want to talk about, is that sometimes you may not think that you're ready for something, but sometimes it just takes one person to give you a new perspective and see it differently. And so today, I don't want to operate from that mentality anymore of what are other people saying. Sure, there is credit to what other people are saying and what they're experiencing, but take it with a grain of salt, because that does not have to be your experience. And just how I am sharing my experience today, maybe you don't want to integrate that, and that's totally fine too. You are your own inner guru, right? You are your own queen, king, whatever you want to call yourself. You know yourself best, right? It's between you and source. I'm just here to share my experience. And so for me, it was, okay, I have this gift. I have this dream. I have this passion and fire inside my belly of wanting to teach groups. And I want to take a community with me, because I really am a community builder. Honestly, I have a goddess book club that I initiated. I just instituted a Biz Baddie group. And these are all just for fun, right? These are all just for fun. I noticed a need, and it actually stems from my own initiation of what I crave. And it's all self-led. And instead of waiting for someone to, and that's where I'm very proactive, instead of waiting for someone to create something for me, I go out and do it myself. And so that's what ended up happening with this. I said, you know what? I have enough one-on-one clients to actually create a group container. And so that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to see what it's like, if I can hold the container, if I like doing it. And that's the thing with me, is I always test for myself the ideas before I actually press on the gas all the way, right? And so that's what I did. And I had this idea of, when I actually switched the direction, the niche in my business of wanting to expand and open up more into what is a sacred feminine journey, to really reflect what it is that was going on inside of me. And there was a lot of internal struggle with that as well, of thinking, oh, well, but if I'm still going through it, everyone says you're not supposed to talk from the wound, you're supposed to talk from the scar. Like, how do I express what's going on? And what I say to that? Just F that. You express yourself. You tune into your body of what feels good for you. If it's an expansion, then give it a fuck yes and go. If it's a contraction, if you feel that nasty dense ball in your body type of stomach, then that means it's a no for you. It really is. A hell yes and a hell no. And if it's a hell maybe, then don't go with it. Don't go with it, because then what's going to happen is you're going to sit on it, you're going to think about it, and then your mind's going to force you to go with it. And it's just a battle between the brain and the heart. And that's not a good place to be to start any type of launch, offering, whatever, if your heart's not in it, because people will pick up on that frequency and energy in their field. And so for me, it was, okay, I have enough people in my community, in my ether, and this is something that I really want to do, and I want to share it because I'm going through something that I want to share these tools. I want to share it not only just in a one-on-one capacity, but I want to share it with other women. And so oftentimes what I do is after my one-on-ones, I'll ask people, what kind of support do you still want from me? And it was a lot of, and I said, oh, okay, great. Let me just think of what other monthly memberships are out there. And this idea came to me of, well, I love teaching workshops and I love sharing about these tantric teachings. I love meditating with people. I want to practice and share these yoga sessions. I want to do group coaching, and I want to do full moon circles. And the full moon circles I had already been doing, and each month I love to focus on a different feminine archetype that is on the foundation of different myths and goddesses that we're studying and stories to really just evoke something in you to really make you understand what is happening into your eternal realm. And so ultimately, my mission as life is really to connect women to Shakti, right? All of us have Shakti, all of us have that life force, that higher consciousness, that expression. And it's that dimension where we can really feel into our expression in the world. It's what makes us feel alive. It's our vitality. And you notice when someone is really fully in their expression because there is no holding back and they feel so turned on by their life and they have that gusto, they have that fire. And you can really sense it when you're with someone. And there are other people, like I can tell you, when someone has a stick up their ass, when they are so in their mind about what is going on and not in their heart and descending into their body and feeling everything, and they're just that struggle between the mind and the heart and up here and down here, and they're disconnected, you can really sense it. And they're really not connected to that passion inside of them, right? They're not connected to their subtle body. They're not connected to what turns them on. And that energy can also heal you, not only physically by making you so tapped in and so turned on by your life and just really seeing the vibrancy, not only out there when you walk in the world, when you see and connect to the beauty that around you, because you feel that, right? But it also heals the mind. It heals those limiting beliefs. And I truly experience it when I'm doing Kundalini Kriyas. And I've spoken about it here and there before, where literally every single time that I do Kundalini yoga, when I do a Kriya, when I work with Shakti energy, whether it's meditating, doing japa, I feel that God consciousness. And you can call it God, you can call it source, you can call it universal, but I truly believe spirituality is connecting to something greater than me, that is beyond me, because I truly believe that I have the bodily experience, the human experience, but also the soul experience. And so for me, helping women tap into that power and actualizing it and realizing it and connecting to it, and then realizing how fucking infinite they are, that turns me on. Because the more we have women leaders in this world, the more that we can change so much in our life and we can heal, right? We are the ones that are raising children. We are the ones that really need to step up and be leaders. I mean, don't get me started on the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. I mean, that was just, the fact that there was I just can't even believe that. But anyways, like to me, that lights a fire at my ass that this work is so important, that the work that I do is very much needed in this world, and I'm going to dedicate my life to that, right? In whatever capacity, whatever it means, to allow women to know that they are more powerful than that they think they are. And that, what does it take? I mean, what does it take to be in this world where women are feeling into themselves, that are turned on, that are considered the most important, that they consider themselves most important, and they raise their standards and they believe that they can do anything in this world? Why not give everyone that gift and that power, and helping them realize that is what their true essence is? That's what it means. And so regardless whether you're feminine, male, don't identify with either, it's just about truly actualizing your essence and your soul and recognizing that. And so for me, it was really, how do I help women do that in a greater capacity? How do I scale that? And so that's how the Sacred Femme Alchemy membership was essentially born. It was born into, okay, well, I love gatherings. I've gotten such great feedback from women who join the full moon circles. I focused on a different feminine archetype. I chose different rituals for us to do to set on the full moon. A lot of people will set new intentions during the new moon versus the full moon. But for me, what I really wanted to focus on the things that we really need to release. I'm the type of person where, great, I love new intention settings, right? But anybody can set intentions. So it's kind of like when it's January 1st and there are goals that you want to set for the new year, but the hard part is actually keeping up with it. And in the Kundalini yoga family, they often say, keep up and you'll be kept up. And so it's really about learning to understand where are the blocks in your life, and how do you create awareness, and how do you do it in a way that'll keep you on the momentum and the path. And the way that I found that was through community. I talked about it in 12-step community. That was the easiest way for me to get sober, because I had a pack of people that were going through the same thing I was. And so oftentimes when you're on the spiritual path, it can be very lonely. And so that's why it's so important to adopt a community of like-minded people, or when you all of a sudden change and you're shedding old parts of yourself and you're like, I want to connect with like-minded people. I want to be in community, because all the other people that I used to hang out with, I just don't jive with them anymore. And I feel alone, and I feel like I'm in this corridor. And so I wanted to create this sense of community where people can really just drop in and really share their truths and drop their masks and really embody these teachings of, maybe you're on the sacred feminine path, or maybe you don't even know what that is and you want to tap into it, but you don't even know where to begin because you don't want to work in a one-on-one capacity. Maybe you're still hiding behind the shadows, or, maybe it's just almost unfamiliar to you and you would just rather do it in a group setting to understand what are other women experiencing? What are they feeling? I can't be the only one that's experiencing this. And luckily, when you're in a group and you hear other people share, which often creates, a little bit of nervousness and anxiety, because when you're in this group and kind of admitting, hey, this is something I want to explore, but then it's, oh, let's explore it together because this is a commonality that we have and we share, and I'm going to open up my heart and I'm going to really be vulnerable and honest and share what's coming up. And so that's why I really wanted to create this community around it, because it's a very big journey to go on when you're on the sacred feminine journey, right? It's not just about looking pretty. It's not just about receiving, waiting for the man to come to you because the egg doesn't chase the sperm. It's not about that. It's truly about actualizing your power. And I mean, sure, there are parts of it, right? When you want to call in a relationship, there's like the polarities and all of that stuff, and the feminine polarity versus the masculine polarity, and like different energies that you have to play with inside yourself and within actual dynamic. It goes so much deeper than that. And it's this spiritual path and evolution and transformation that you are on, and being able to be around a supportive, loving community of women, of sisterhood, to really cheer you on, and a space for you to say, hey, this is what I'm going through. It's all there. And that's what I love about this, because in between the different events that we have during the month, we have an opportunity to share on the platform and have people really get to know each other. And so it creates this almost womb-like cocoon of just really nourishing and feeding you and just filling you up. And it's something that you can look forward to. And so what I love about it is that in addition to the actual community and platform to consistently stay connected, we have these full moon women circles, like I mentioned, that are focused on the feminine archetypes. The first time I did it, it was focused on Saint Thecla and the lioness archetype. So really focusing on that and learning how to awaken our heart and learning how to have the courage and fire to connect to that. And then the other one was on Aphrodite. And that was a beautiful one about how to get turned on by your own life, right? And a lot of us were really setting these intentions of, okay, let's really think about what is the life that we want to create and how can we create this commitment together, hold each other accountable, and set our intentions in front of another and be seen. And that's the beautiful part about it, is that you get to do this in a group and be seen for it and not feel like you're doing it alone. And so if there's a block coming up, we have an opportunity to get coached. So every single month, there's a group coaching session where you can share and ask any questions you have. You can share it in our platform where we host our community, or you can chat about it live with me when we do the group coaching. And so it's just a really beautiful way to always constantly stay connected. And of course, there are also Kundalini, Tantra teachings and workshops that fall into that. And so there's, different ways to work with the elements. There are different ways to work with different mantras, working with yantras, which are sacred geometry, to really tap in and invoke the different Hindu goddesses. And there are so many different types of tools. And the thing that really gets me excited about it as I continue my Kundalini training is being able to integrate more and more of the teachings that are really specific to women, because there are kriyas that are specific to women. There are teachings that are specific to women. And that is my aim. There's teachings that are specific to mothers, right? There's a kriya for mothers learning how to keep up with their children. There's even a meditation for the type of child you want to call in, which I'm going to do with my partner. I made him promise me, like, okay, we're going to do this meditation to call in our child. And, he thinks all the stuff I do is kind of funny, but I love that he's so supportive of it, right? And he's, okay, I'm down. And that's the beauty of it, that the relationship to Shakti, to your path, is ever evolving. It's changing. And how beautiful it is to know that you can work with this energy and feel that it heals you on a physical level. So right now I'm assigned this kriya where it's called the disease resistance. And so the whole purpose is to really help you digest and keep your body physically kept up and healthy so that you don't have diseases. As you can prevent disease as much as you can. And so it's interesting because every single time you do these kriyas, it's a sacred science into what part are you working. And even when you're sitting on the heels, when you're sitting on your sits bones with your heels, that is tapping into 2 meridian points that help with your digestion. And the whole point of Kundalini is really amplifying your inner fire, your inner will. That's the 3rd chakra, the solar plexus, the crown of jewels, the city of jewels, that you're really working with that energy to help you believe that there is a way through every single block. And that's where the empowerment comes from. And that's where I get super excited to tell and teach these teachings, because it allows women to realize how empowered they really are, and to believe in that, and to know that if they are that powerful, then what can they do with that power? And it's amazing. And, there are times when I'm reciting different mantras and I just start crying because I have so much love that's inside of me. And then the beautiful thing is that once I fill my own vessel with all of this love and the goodness and the practice, then I obviously consecrate it and I dedicate my practice to either myself or, usually my nephew. I'll do that, or someone else that I'm experiencing hardship with. Not that I am experiencing hardship with my nephew, but I always love dedicating, my practice to him. And I just think about all of the different people in the world as well, the war going on, and how can I send love out, right? How can I truly send love out? And so it's just a beautiful practice, and I'm just so excited to share it. And every single month we have a different theme. So for the month of May, it's really about how do we tap into our inner feminine? How do we heal those wounds from the mother-daughter archetype? and studying through the myth of Demeter and Persephone. And so the interesting thing is, I am part of this program where we are looking at feminine myths and different goddesses and studying them through our right brain, which is the feminine side, as opposed to the left brain. And I remember when I heard the story, and there were often many different iterations of it, very different point of views. And the point of view that we got was from the mother. And it struck me because at this point in my life, even though I'm not a mother, I want to be a mother, I saw just a different perspective. I saw a different perspective that made me empathize with my own mother of what it was like to raise me. Whereas before, I would have had only the perspective, this one-dimensional perspective of the daughter, the child, who thinks she has an overbearing mom, or, and so it's interesting because when you go on this path, you start to see that there's so much dimension, not only in your mother, who's also a person, who's also a woman before she raised you and had her own experience. And let's give each other grace, right? Let's just give each other grace. And it just makes you think differently. And so, of course, I wanted to pick this theme for May as, I'm opening this up to the public of, what does it look like to really tap into your own feminine wounds? Because the first model that you have of a woman comes from your mother or the feminine energy. And what does that look like in your life? And a society where a lot of religions don't revere the women as much, it's interesting to see, what does it look like in the household? What kind of woman was my mom, or what parts of her did she have to repress that was passed down from her mom? And so it becomes this generational type of wounding, or this inheritance that you get to look at with awe, not as a way to judge yourself, but with awe, and really think, oh, okay, what are the beliefs that I'm carrying in my body? What do I no longer want to hold anymore? And how do I transform that? And that is a path of alchemy. It's taking these not lower, but these denser energies and transforming them with fire. And how do we bring them into love? How do we bring them into a different mindset, a reframe? And so that's what we're going to be really exploring. And this Thursday, I have a kickoff where we are going to explore that with tapping, right? So even understanding, if you've never done an exploration of what is your relationship like to the feminine, we're going to be exploring, well, what does it look like in general? And I will link all of that in the show notes of how you can sign up. Obviously, when you get on the wait list, you have access to that because I will give you the links to join. But it's looking through that. So that's another alchemical tool that I really love looking at and working with, is tapping, because you really get to acknowledge the things that make you a little afraid, but you learn to accept it and you learn to love yourself for where you're at, right? And so that's the beauty of it. And then the following week, we have the Divine Feminine workshop on how to invoke the inner mother and what does that look like to you. And so really getting to create your own cosmic mother and look at your relationship to your own mom. And how can you be that divine cosmic mother for yourself if you didn't have a great role model growing up? And then the third week will be about working with Demeter and Persephone and doing a full moon circle. And then the last week will be group coaching. And so every single week, there is something beautiful that is lined up. And that's what usually happens in the membership, is that we have a different theme for every single week. And it's a great way to tap into the theme. It's a great way to explore, and it's a great way to connect with people in the community and really hear what they're going through, because the beauty is that you feel like you're not alone. Right? It's like you totally have cheerleaders and sisters just cheering you on. And that's just so special, being able to create that portal, to create that container, to create that vortex. And so I would love, love, love to have you in the community. I am opening up the wait list right now. And so once you join the waitlist, you have access to all of the events that I just listed, the EFT tapping circle, the Divine Feminine workshop, the full moon circle, and the group coaching, just to give you a taste of what it's like. Because next month, because this month we're focused on healing the inner feminine, next month it's all about healing the inner masculine. And that's going to be a juicy one. And I love being able to co-create it. And so, with members in the group, I always tell them, give me feedback. Is there a certain topic that you want to focus on? We will do that, right? We will do that. And it's just a beautiful way to connect. And I have grown to love all of the women that are in there already right now. And I'm just so glad, I'm so grateful that I get to open it up to all of you to come experience this, right? If you've ever wanted to work with me in this type of capacity, this is the way to work with me, because you get to not only connect with other people in sisterhood from all different parts of the world, but then you also get to be on your journey, and you also get to learn different tools. You get to change your beliefs. You get to transform your patterns. You get to connect with Kundalini Shakti. You get to learn different types of teachings that just go beyond the mind, but really the body. And you get to really work and awaken your own spiritual path and connect to yourself on such a deeper level, and really awaken to your own infinite potential, right? And so this is my baby right now. This is my dream. I'm so excited that you get to be a part of it. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me, DM me on social, and I will put all of this in the show notes, but this is going to be really short and sweet. But I am so, so, so thankful for you. I can't wait to see you in the membership. I can't wait to see your name pop up in the wait list. And I will catch you on the next episode, where I do have a couple of guests for the rest of the month, where we're talking about really juicy topics, all relating to the feminine, of course. But this was so much fun jamming with you all, being on video. And feel free to let me know if you have any questions. I can't wait to see you in the events this month. This month it is all invitation. If you get access to, and if you sign up for the wait list, you can also DM me. And if you are on the wait list, you also get the pre-party pricing before I open it up to the public. So anyways, you get all of the deets first. But thank you so much. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will catch you on the next Sacred Femme Alchemy episode. And have a great week, everyone. Bye.